Hey guys, back with a new recording. Uh, so the last video that I had put out was about playing my wildcard, and I'm putting this one out because I'm most likely playing another chip in Gameweek 22, double Gameweek 22. Okay, so yeah, first I'm going to quickly review playing my wildcard in Gameweek 20. Against all the odds, people saying it's too early, and yeah, I saw the opportunity and I took it, and I'm so happy with that because I have absolutely jumped up in ranks in last couple of weeks. Most of the players that I have bought in on wildcard, they have gone on and done really well for me. The likes of David Raya, back-to-back clean sheets. At one point, I was quite disappointed that I did not go for Kepa instead. Kepa has actually outscored David Raya, and if I'm honest, if I look at how things are turning up in the coming game weeks with the blanks and doubles, I think Kepa looks like a much better pick right now. But it's done, and I'm very happy that I was quite disappointed after Kepa got that 9-pointer against Liverpool because I saw that coming. A lot of people benched Kepa against Liverpool, but I had predicted it is going to be a 0-0, and I had predicted it's going to be a 0-0, 10 minutes into the game, and then I watched till the half time, and I was convinced that it was going to be a 0-0, and it ended up being a 0-0, and Kepa did not have much to do at all. I mean, he is, other than, the game week before, I think it was against Crystal Palace. Other than that, I think he has barely made a really great save after the World Cup, but that's how it is. He's just making 3 or 4 saves, and that is good enough for him to get all the 3 bonus points. And yeah, in any week, Chelsea keep a clean sheet. Chelsea are a defense first team, even with spending 500 odd millions in the market. You can bet that he's going to be among the bonus points, that is for sure. Okay, so yeah, but Raya then came in and he outscored Kepa. He scored 10 points. Double digit is always fun. At one point it was 11, and I was kind of disappointed with that 1 point lost because it's a differential return, and a single point from David Raya matters a lot. And he actually lost a save point. I don't know how that happens. He had 6 saves when the match ended, and somehow an hour later he had 5 saves. And I lost a point, and that point actually, I would have been on 1300 points. I'm on 1299 right now. That 1 point just, I just did not reach a whole digit, a round figure. And also at one point during that Spurs and Fulham game, I had Mitrovic and Kane, and I needed 12 points, both of them combined, for me to get to a 100-point week. And at halftime, Kane had all the 3 bonus points with his goal. Eventually, of course, he did not get a single bonus point, and Mitrovic ended up with a 2-pointer. So at one point, I was looking at a 9-pointer from Kane and a 2-pointer from Mitrovic, which would have counted as 11 points. And 11 points would have meant that I felt 1 point short of 100, which again, I mean, it kind of felt good in the end when Kane dropped out of bonus, because 99 points would have just not felt that great. I ended up with 96 points in game week 21. It was not a double game week, and I think the highest I ever had before this, I mean, there was this crazy game week back in the infamous game week 9 of last season, where that Salah and Havertz, Kai Havertz captaincy scenario where people had massive swings, and that was the week when there were people scoring in 120s, and I think I had scored somewhere around 123 or 27. Other than that, the highest I've ever scored in a single game week was 97 points, and this week I ended up with 96. Hitting that 100 would have been fun. Hitting that 100 would have been possible, if the fourth goal that City scored against Wolverhampton would have counted. De Bruyne assist, Mahrez goal, that would have been, a wonderful moment. But that did not happen, and that goal got ruled out by offside. I did not even see them checking it on VAR. The flag just went up and they continued to the game after that. And it looked very, very close. So, anyway, that's in the past and that's done. I'm very happy with the overall score and how things have gone in the last 2 weeks. The other absolute heroes, Estupinan, the Brighton defender that I bought on Wildcard, he got a clean sheet against Liverpool. I benched him for that, but last week he got not one but 2 assists, including that winning goal scored by Ethan Ferguson. Wonderful performance, and these two, Mitoma, Estupinan, both of them I bought in my wildcard, and I'm so happy. Mitoma has got back-to-back returns at 10-pointer in last game week. He absolutely boosted my rank with that brilliant goal against Leicester with his right foot. What a player! I've been praising this guy like crazy. Since I've seen him play for Brighton, even before the World Cup. During the World Cup, I've spoken about this before, but I have said that this guy is the second best player in Asia right now during the World Cup. Even when, Japan were not exactly using him, Japan were bringing him off the bench, and every time he came on, somewhere around 60 minutes, he had an impact. And he played a very, very key role in Japan qualifying from the group stages. But, he came back, and now this is another thing that I've mentioned on Twitter. I have to thank Leandro Trossard for this, because Trossard came back from the World Cup and apparently his head turned. He wanted to leave Brighton and Brighton sold him. And even before they sold him, it looked like, he had fallen out of favor. He was not playing regularly. He was not getting the 1 or 2 games that he started. I think he came off very early as well, so his head was just not there. And now Trossard has been playing all over that left wing. He has been playing at left wing back. He has been playing, as the left forward, left winger, whatever you want to say. But him being out of the picture, that helped me make that decision of going for both Mitoma and Estupinan. And I saw them link up in, I don't remember exactly who the opponent were, but it was in game week 18 or 19, something like that. I saw them linking up like crazy on that left wing, and I felt like, this is a combo that is going to bring in some points in the coming game weeks. And when I got a return of, Mitoma scoring a goal with an Estupinan assist, the double differential delight, I was so happy, because that is not dealing with stats, not looking at boring data and things like that. It's just how you watch football, how you enjoy football, admire what people are doing on the pitch, and making your decisions on the basis of that. I love watching football, and my entire FPL experience is based on that. Very rarely I refer to stats. I refer to stats like some team is really bad at set pieces, like Leeds, for example. Leicester, Leeds, Crystal Palace last season at certain times, Liverpool right now. These are certain teams which are just bad with set pieces, and if I'm aware of that, like a lot of the smaller teams, I'm not watching them every week. I learn about that, and maybe then you can go with a 4.5 defender from one of the teams that are playing against them. But that is it. Other than that, I don't look at stats, and it's all eye test. And all the picks that I've made recently have been because of that, and yeah, most of them have paid off. Another player that did really well for me was Odegaard. This was a mistake on Wildcard. I did not go for him because it did not even come to my head for some reason, because Almiron had Fulham in Gameweek 20 and Arsenal had Spurs. So even if I had bought Odegaard on my wildcard, I would have probably benched him, and he scored 9 points in that game. And Almiron, then I just looked at Almiron's performance. He was playing well. He's working hard, but he has just not been in and around the goal. So I decided to sell him last week, and I bought in Odegaard, and this is another player that I think I've jumped on quite early. Those have jumped on him, from like Gameweek 6 or Gameweek 10, something like that, or the first wildcard. They have benefited handsomely. I mean, yes, no one even cared about Odegaard at the start of the season, and he has been I think right now, is he the top scoring midfielder? I think he might be. And it just looks, he makes some space at the edge of the box, and he keeps on taking shots. And he's the Kevin De Bruyne of Arsenal right now. He's involved with everything they're doing, and that is why I'm very happy to have got him already. And this is a transfer that actually bought me 3 extra points last week, and it has saved me some team value as well, because Odegaard has gone up in price twice after that. So yeah, I mean, this is another transfer. He's kind of a differential still. So going forward, I think he's probably Saka. I'd still say I watch some YouTube experts talking about Saka's stats not being great. You watch Arsenal play, and how can you? It's difficult to watch an Arsenal game when you don't have Saka in your team. Saka and Odegaard, in my opinion, are two of the best. I mean, they're just not two best assets in the Arsenal squad. They're the best assets in the entire game, I would say. Haaland and Trippier are probably better than them, but they're very highly owned, and so it doesn't matter. You're not going to score a lot of points from them. Even Rashford, I think, is very, very highly owned, so you're not going to gain much from them. But Saka and Odegaard, I think, are two players. If you have them in your team, maybe they'll be heavily bought before the double game week next week. But in the last few weeks, I think it's been something that has gained you a lot of ranks, because they're still relatively differentials. Martinelli is very highly owned still, because people have value tied to them, and that is why they have not sold him. But it is quite clear that Saka and Odegaard, when you watch Arsenal play, are miles ahead of Martinelli right now. And the third Arsenal asset that I'll probably go for a defender instead, but Nketiah is playing so well as well. So you got to have, in the long run, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, you got to have 3 Arsenal assets in your team, because they are incredible right now. And I'm really, hoping that they go on and win that title. And yeah, it'll be very much deserved in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, other than that, the players that I bought on my wildcard, Rashford, I did not have him for the first few weeks. I had Bruno Fernandes. I bought in Rashford, and I think Bruno has probably outscored him in the last couple of weeks. But then I wouldn't have been able to afford Fernandes, so that is fine. And yeah, I bought in Kane as well, and I'm fairly happy with how well he's playing and how involved he is. And a lot of people are actually talking about selling Kane this week. I think that is quite insane, because he's just returning every week. He's so consistent, and the Spurs have very good fixtures coming up as well. Just for the sake of a double, I'm not going to sell him at all. Okay, so I have jumped from around 460 odd K. I played my wildcard in a week where I was at my highest rank this season. So, wildcard is not to get you out of jail. It's not for a rainy day all the time. You can use your wildcard when you see an opportunity and attack. And that is what I pretty much do every season, especially the second one. And last season I played it in Gameweek 22. It worked really, really well for me. And this season I played it in Gameweek 20, and it has once again worked really well for me. At least so far. Of course, I'm going to see some downside, because next week, most likely, when most people would have 3 Arsenal and 3 City assets without taking hits, I cannot have more than 4. I know I'm going to have a rank drop in Gameweek 25, because at least I'm going to have 4 players down, because I'm not going to sell Rashford or Luke Shaw unless they're injured. I'm not going to sell Kane and Trippier, and I'm probably not going to sell Kaoru Mitoma as well. Estupinan I might sell because Brighton's fixtures are not that great after Gameweek 24. And defensively especially, I'm not expecting him to get 2 assists every week. Next 2-3 are good. Bournemouth, then Palace, then Fulham. These 3 are good. 25, I might sell Estupinan, but Mitoma is going nowhere. I think he can, score against pretty much every week. He's probably one of the top 5 players in the Premier League right now. And yeah, the best part of, you have played a successful wildcard when the players you have jumped on early, you have got differential returns from them, and then you are noticing after 2-3 weeks where others are bringing them in as well. And that is happening with a few players that I have. David Raya is very highly bought right now. Estupinan is very highly bought right now. And Odegaard is very highly bought in right now. And Mitoma. I mean, these are 4 players, ultra differentials, who are being heavily bought right now. And I'm very happy that they're doing, and my price for them is going up. Estupinan is due to go up in price in next 1 or 2 days. If he can go up in price one more time, then I can probably sell him successfully for a profit in Gameweek 25. And that is something I'd be very happy with. Okay, so that's my preview, and I'm currently at 133k, so I've jumped like 300k in rank in last 2 weeks, which is the highest jump that I've seen in a short period this season. When things are so close, teams are so similar, it's very difficult to go high like that unless you have a remarkable week. And I've actually touched the top 100k once. I was 99k just before the Arsenal United game, and I actually benched Rashford for that, and Rashford scored a goal, 7-pointer. It did not hurt me much, but he hurt me somewhat, and it brought me out of that. I would have probably been in top 100k if Rashford had not scored that goal, or maybe that Mahrez goal had counted. So anyway, that is the next challenge for me to get into the top 100k. Next 2 or 3 game weeks, I'm expecting a little downslide. Maybe not this week, but in 23 to 25, I may go down a bit. But that is okay. That is part of the game. And I've made my gains. And now it is all about, how far I come down from there. Mini leagues. I'm doing really well in a lot of the mini leagues that matter. Massive gains there as well. Okay, so now going into the next few game weeks. So 23, my plan right now is to bring in Bruno Fernandes like many others in Game Week 22 and have 3 Man United players. A lot of people are going for some Leeds players as well. If they have saved 2 transfers, they're going for Rodrigo, Neonto. Not bad options. But honestly, if I had 2 free transfers, I'd probably think about saving them for next week, because that Arsenal and City, I think, are bringing in an extra Arsenal or City player. I think is a much better scenario than bringing in a Leeds player for their doubles. And so next week, I think the strategy that I had in my mind was, go Bruno this week in 22. And I can get to Bruno only, I do not have 2 free transfers. So I can get to Bruno only by selling De Bruyne. And I'm okay with doing that. And the initial plan was to bring in De Bruyne back for Game Week 23 for City's double. And now I'm thinking actually I'll probably not go for De Bruyne, and I'll go for someone like Saka. Firstly, I think Saka is much more involved right now. Arsenal are playing better than City, and Saka is their main guy. When it comes to playmaking, Odegaard is probably the main guy. But when it comes to FPL, I think going forward, Saka is going to be the main guy. So I want Saka in my team. Now, the reason for that is the Champions League, in my opinion, because if we look at the fixtures, I think City have Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest in Gameweek 25 and 24. And I mean, on paper, this look like excellent fixtures. They look like, the fixtures where, somebody might score a hat trick and De Bruyne might get 2 or 3 assists. I mean, that can happen. But at the same time, we have to look at the fixture rush that we are heading into. City versus Arsenal, I think, is on 15th. I'm not looking at anything, I'm just talking, so this is just from memory, and I think it's on 15th. Man City and Arsenal, 15th Feb. Then 2 or 3 days later, I think 2.5 days later, is Man City versus Nottingham Forest. And I can expect Pep to, bench each and every big player that they have. De Bruyne might get benched. I won't be surprised if you have 3 Man City assets. The most popular ones right now are Mahrez, De Bruyne, maybe Ake, and of course Haaland. I won't be surprised if all 4 of them are benched against Nottingham Forest, because 3 days later they have Champions League. And we know City, for them, the Champions League is always their priority because they have never won it. And I don't know if they're going to win it this time, but that is their priority, and they'll put out their best 11, even if it's a much easier fixture against Leipzig. But you can expect City to be absolutely full strength in that game. So there is going to be a lot of benchings and maybe even 0 pointers in Gameweek 24. Gameweek 25, we can expect those players to come back, because after the Champions League break, they've got Bournemouth. That's a pretty decent fixture. Bournemouth away is another fixture where they can go big, because after that in not Gameweek 26, after that in the midweek, so the schedule goes like this. They play Arsenal midweek, February 15th. Then on the weekend, they play Nottingham Forest. Next midweek, they play the Champions League fixture. And then they play Bournemouth. I think these are the 2 games where they'll probably be the closer to their first choice 11. And then they have the FA Cup, for which the next midweek, for which again we can expect some rotation. So it is probably not wise to sell all of them. I'll have Mahrez probably, because Mahrez is cheaper and it's going to hurt less if he gets benched. But I cannot see City playing their full strength team against Nottingham Forest after playing Arsenal and then the Champions League just 2 days later. That is not going to happen. Okay, so that is why I'm probably not going to bring De Bruyne back. Going for Saka gives me 1 or 2 extra fixtures, and yeah, I'm completely okay with that. So this is a strategy that I'm going with. And then maybe in Gameweek 24 and 25, I have Doherty, who has just been transferred to Atletico Madrid. So, Atletico Madrid do have a better defense than Tottenham, I think. So hopefully he'll keep some clean sheets. And then I'll probably sell Estupinan in Gameweek 25. But that depends on how things turn out. Okay, so that is how I'm looking at things. And finally now, I'm actually recording this for the second time, because last time I forgot to speak about this. I am going to most likely play my triple captainship in Gameweek 22. And it's going to be played on Matt Doherty, or now that Doherty has been transferred to Atletico Madrid. I like making the game more fun. Now there is of course a risk factor to it. Rashford could go missing, but it's very unlikely that he's going to miss both the fixtures in a double game week. So I might take that chance. I'm not 100% sure, but I might play my let's not make it funny. I might play my triple captainship on Marcus Rashford, because two wonderful fixtures. It's a rare uh, combination. He's got the form. I think 9 or 10 games in a row he has scored at Old Trafford, and I'm sure he's going to want to make that run just going on, you know. So Rashford against Crystal Palace and Leeds. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're really bad defenses. I've seen Leeds defend pretty well this season, and Crystal Palace, if we look at some of the recent games, they kind of fell apart against Spurs in the second half. I mean, Vieira talked about this. They play well for like 70 minutes in a game, and then 20 minutes somewhere in between or somewhere towards the end. There is this 20-minute spell where they're playing really, really bad and they just keep on leaking goals. Now, that can happen at Old Trafford because it's a big stadium, it's a big environment to go to, and they will be without Zaha, and in spite of having talented players, it's not going to be easy. And I'm backing Rashford. If he plays both the games, he's probably going to start both the games as well. So I think it's probably the best bet to play your triple captainship. Then, of course, you've got Haaland, the option of Haaland in Gameweek 23. And yeah, that is a pretty good option as well. But, the first game is against Villa. Then they play Arsenal few days later. So, again, that's like, there's not a big gap between the two fixtures. It's, weekend and midweek kind of scenario. So, he might come off early against Aston Villa. And I just don't trust Emi Martinez. He's a crazy guy. He might do something crazy, and we might even see Aston Villa, taking City down at their home ground. That is, not likely, but that can happen. And Martinez is somebody I'm not willing to take a chance on. And then, of course, City go to Arsenal, which is a game where you'd expect Haaland to play 90 minutes. Maybe he can score a goal or two, but at the same time, I think Rashford is just equally likely to score in those two games against Crystal Palace and Leeds. So, form, fixtures, team form, which is very important as well. I think United are in a better form than City right now. And what else? Guarantee of starts. So, all those fixtures combined, I think I made that call that if everything is alright, Rashford survives any kind of injuries in the FL Cup second leg, and if there are no updates of any kind of issues with Rashford or one of their key someone like say Bruno Fernandes not playing, that could hamper some plans as well, because you need creativity. You need someone to feed him as well. He's not going to score a Waldy every week, that is for sure. But anyway, so Rashford, I think at the moment I'm leaning towards, and he's a midfielder. So, he gets an extra point for a goal. He gets an extra point for a clean sheet, which are possible in two pretty decent fixtures. United have been defensively very solid as well. So yeah, I'm probably going to play my triple captain on Rashford this week. So yeah, that is pretty much it then. So my likely transfer this week is Bruno Fernandes coming in for De Bruyne, and I'm likely to play my triple captainship. I'm going to probably play it on Matt Doherty, play him in my starting lineup, and put my vice captaincy on Rashford and enjoy a massive rank boost at the end of the week when the game is updated. And I'm probably going to bench Bruno Fernandes in that case as well, so that it's even more points coming off post auto subs and vice captaincy points. Anyway, so my wildcard team, the last video that I posted, was very much different from the wildcard team that I eventually went with. So I mean, there are no guarantees because these videos that I'm putting out, I mean, they're done quite earlier than the final teams are logged. So if you, I mean, I'm not a person who's going to give you a massive lift in this game, but if you want to converse football, if you like the ideas that we can share, then you can come and follow me on Twitter. I follow back each and every FPL account unless you have something offensive in your account. I'm going to follow back any FPL account that follows me. So you can come, have a conversation. You can, share your thoughts. And yeah, I mean, that's it.